And we're coming back. And so, if everything goes well, maybe this might be the last part, but we'll see on that, guys. I don't know. Because after this, obviously, I'm going to be doing Ridge Route. So, yeah. But for now, let's try to see where this is going to go. Because it's getting pretty interesting. The track looms ahead, and another jolt of nerves hits me in the gut. I resist the urge to turn and walk away, and instead note with satisfaction that I was right and Emmy is still running. I don't make myself immediately known. I find a seat in the bleachers and watch her run instead, thinking back to earlier meetings. After a few trips around the track, Emmy notices me and skids to a halt, an expression of surprise that slides easily into one of anger. What are you doing here? Not quite the response I'd hoped for, but at this point I don't have much of a choice. I wanted to apologize for what I said the other day. The other day? She laughs, a curt exclamation of disbelief. It's been almost a week, Sal. Yeah, well, better late than never, right? Emmy crosses her arms and stares at me coolly, as if sizing me up. Finally, she nods. I suppose you're right. Water under the bridge, then. I forgive you. Is that all? Her almost impatient question catches me so off guard that she's already halfway down the track before I think to shout after her. No, wait. She doesn't seem to have heard me, or she doesn't want to hear me. And so I give chase, disregarding completely the fact that I am not dressed for it. My feet hurt and my shirt collar feels like a noose around my neck, but I still chase after her because if I don't, I'll lose my chance. Emmy hasn't started to really accelerate yet, which is probably the only reason why I'm able to catch up to her, to reach out and tap her on the shoulder just before my legs give up running in dress shoes and stumble to a stop. Surprisingly, unfortunately, all that running seems to have paid off. And short of breath, yes, but at least my heart isn't actively trying to force its way out of my ribcage. My touch on her shoulder has stopped Emmy, and while there is a flash of concern when she sees me catching my breath, it seems that she has a good idea of what I'm capable of too. The concern is short-lived. What? She seems so irritated by my being still there that I almost lose my nerve, but I've lost my nerve enough. I need to explain myself, why I can't just let the matter rest. Amy folds her arms and bounces one blade on the ground in an approximation of tapping her foot impatiently. Angry as she is and as nervous as I am, she still looks beautiful. Okay, Asao, explain. The thing is, I know that you're really sensitive about the accident about your dad. I can see Emmy's face twitch at the mention of the two things that have been steadily driving us apart, or at least made me feel like we're being driven apart. But that's why I want to know about them, I think. Because I see how much they hurt you, and I want to be there to comfort you. It makes me miserable seeing you sleepless and depressed. And don't pretend you aren't, because I know, okay? I just remember that night when you fell asleep with me and had that nightmare, and that you were happy to have me there when you woke up. I want to be able to be there for you like that whenever you need me to be. The stern face cracks slightly and me interrupts before I continue further. Just stop right there. We can't see each other anymore, okay? She's rushing now, looking everywhere but at me. I'm surprised she doesn't bolt. She knows I can't catch her. We're not right for one another. That's not true, and you know it. No, it's true. You're too. I know. I know that I've been pushy about knowing your past. If you can't tell me yet, then at least let me be there even if I don't know the reason. It's okay, I promise. I won't ask why you need comfort. I'll just give it freely. And he's shaking her head and tears seem to be flooding the corners of her eyes. Stop saying that. Why? Because you're afraid you'll take me up on it? I'm not afraid. I can't keep the chiding tone from my voice as I respond. Yes, you are. You told me so yourself, remember? That's okay, really it is. However, it seems to me that someone who's managed to come out of that wreck and still be as energetic and cheerful as you are would be determined enough to face that fear. Determination? What do you know about determination? I know that there's a girl so determined to take care of a total stranger that she'd steal his food at a festival. I know that there's a girl so determined to help me with my own problems that she'd draw up a complete dietary and exercise plan. And that she'd not only draw up the plans, but she'd follow them with me, even when she couldn't run. Determined enough to keep me at arm's length, but she'd put herself through emotional pain if she thought it was the right thing to do. Although, there's one thing that this determined girl didn't quite plan for, which was that I might feel the same kind of determination to keep her from being hurt. I fell in love with you, and I refuse to let that be thrown away because you're afraid of losing me. The little control Amy still has at this point cracked, and I found myself standing in enveloped and embraced as she cries. Why are you doing this? Why can't you just leave me alone? I hold her close and plant a kiss on the top of her head. Aww. Aww. I'm sorry, Emmy. You helped me when I first arrived, so now I have to help you. It's only fair. You're utterly hopeless, you know that. She hiccups and trembles a little. Funny, I could say the same about you. Could you do something for me, Sal? Anything. Can you go now? It feels like she just shoved a knife through my chest. Go. I need to think, okay? I can't just tell you everything yet. I'm still scared, and when you're around, I can't think clearly. But do me another favor. What's that? Show up for I'm running tomorrow. I smile, feeling better than I have all week. Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Amy steps back slowly, almost reluctantly. She sniffles a little and then grins at me. A real smile that lights up the track, overpowering the fading evening's light. See you tomorrow, Sal. Okay. She darts forward, suddenly planting a soft kiss on my lips, then steps back shyly. Spinning on her back foot, she takes off running again, and I know that our conversation's at an end. My lips tingle with the warmth of that brief kiss and the memories of other, longer kisses. I walk back to my room with a spring in my step. Tomorrow, when my alarm goes off, I'll get up. Interesting. So, we actually got a little bit of a bad route, a little bit of a bad choice in there. Kind of get to an alternate route here. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. That's not exactly what I was trying to go for, though. I just want to get a good ending. I don't know. But I guess you tend to forget that this game plays a little different than you might expect sometimes. But let's continue. The morning sun is bright through my open window, and the sound of my alarm quickly has me up and about. I slept surprisingly well last night, secure in the knowledge that I at least have got another chance with Emmy. If I could just keep myself from doing anything stupid, maybe I'll find out what's been eating her recently. I have a few educated guesses, but nothing concrete, and certainly nothing that I'm going to say to her. I'd much prefer to have her tell me herself. Emmy is waiting for me as promised, looking a little haggard, but otherwise bright and cheerful, much more so than any previous day this week. It's Sal, you're late. I wave my hand dismissively. Nonsense, you're just early. Emmy grins back, and it feels like we're finally back where we should be with one another. Except now, Emmy, not just me, wants to take another step forward, although a part of me worries that she'll back out at the last second. Hurry up and stretch, Sal. I don't want to miss the bus. The bus? Yeah, the bus. I want to show you something, and I don't want to be late. Okay. I try not to grin too wide. I'm happy beyond words that Emmy wants to hang out after the run at all. But her promise of showing me something has me even more intrigued. Is this what she had to think about? I wonder just what she's planning to do. I quickly go through my warm-up routine while Emmy bounces impatiently from one foot to the other. She really does seem to want to get moving as soon as possible. The run is over so quickly I could barely believe that I haven't fallen over dead afterwards. Emmy set a blistering pace and I, in my foolishness, kept up with her. Well, until the last few steps, I had to slow down just in case, but I don't mind. Emmy's waiting patiently for me when I finish. As patiently as she can wait anyway. Finished. Good. Come on. Grabbing my arm, she practically rushes me down to the nurse's office. You seem in a hurry, Emmy. Trying to catch the bus early. Yeah, I told Mom I'd be back for lunch. Well, I'll take care of you first then. But Asal's got to come with me too. The nurse raises a single eyebrow at this statement and peers at the two of us searchingly. Really? Today, huh? Emmy's response is a nod, followed by a surprisingly shy grin. Well then, we'll make this quick. Emmy enters the nurse's office and I patiently wait outside for her to be finished, wondering just why the nurse seemed to be surprised by Emmy's declaration. I feel like I'm missing out on some joke or the significance of today, but beyond the fact that it is clearly significant in some way, of course. True to his word, the nurse has Emmy out of his office surprisingly quickly, and I take her place after promising to meet up at the front gate. The nurse takes my pulse and this is perfect. Your heartbeat's faster than usual, but pushing yourself again, have you? Well, Emmy seemed in a rush to get through the run, so I'm not surprised. Today is rather important to her, you know? Come on, phone! I suspected that would be the case, but I have no idea why that's the case. He hasn't told you. Interesting. Oh, you're not going to tell me either, then. No, I'm not. I suspect that Emmy has her own plan for explaining the way to you, and I don't want to mess with that. You'll find out soon enough, so what's the rush? Now, as far as your heart, I would take it easy for the rest of the day. No spontaneous races or anything like that. Got it? Got it. She won't have her running legs on anyway, right? No, but if you think something like that is going to stop her. Good point. I don't think it'll be much of an issue today of all days, but still. If he's trying to reassure me he's doing a terrible job, I'm quickly becoming more and more worried about what today could be for. Like suddenly finding out Emmy's in a cult or something. At the same time, if today is such a big deal and Emmy wants me to be with her for it, then maybe she really does want to grow closer to me. Maybe this will be the answer to all the riddles, to the sleepless nights and the sudden mood swings. Either way, I barely remember to thank the nurse before taking off as quickly as I dared from my room to get a shower and throw on some decent-looking clothes. If today is as important as it seems to be, I should dress appropriately. Emmy, of course, proves me wrong as soon as I reach the front gate wearing her usual shirt and shorts. So, at least I know it's not a terribly formal affair, whatever it is. You're early, Asal. Not as early as you, eager are we? Eagerly, Emmy cheekily pokes at her tongue. The bus stop isn't very crowded at this hour, which seems to please Emmy, and we end up relaxing a little as we wait. We sit in silence for a while, but I can tell that Emmy's trying to work herself up to say something. I don't have anything to say myself, so I sit waiting for her to talk. It doesn't take too long. So, I'm sure you're curious as to why the nurse thought it was so weird for me to bring you along today. It was a bit, yes, but if you're not ready to tell me. Emmy stops my sentence by placing a finger on my lips. Don't tempt me, Asal. I want to tell you this, but I'm just uncertain as to how to go about it. I don't want to keep delaying or deferring. I just want to be able to say it. So say it. You know that it's not going to be that easy for me, Asal. So treat it like running. Warm up to it with something small and easy, and go from there. But don't do it too fast, okay? I'm a patient man. I can wait for you to get to it. Emmy seems to consider my words when it begins what is probably a desire to get it over with. I will admit, as much as I keep telling Emmy to take her time, I wouldn't mind her getting it over with, either. Somehow I know that Emmy probably needs more time than the bus ride will provide to get it all out, whatever it is. Yeah, maybe you're right. The stop probably isn't the best place for this anyway, but just to make sure that it don't go back on my word, I'll at least say this. She takes a deep breath, lets it out after a moment, says in a low voice. We're gonna see my dad today. Kinda figured that would be the case. The words hang in the air, and I can see that Emmy's afraid that I'll panic and disappear in response, which a part of me almost wants to do. But it would be stupid of me to back out, or to suddenly abandon the promise I made to be there for Emmy when she needs me. The nurse thought it was so weird of her to bring me along. She doesn't bring anyone along, or at least I'm willing to bet that she hasn't before today. The day seems to take on an even greater significance. What has it taken Emmy to even get this far? Uh, and why is that the best I can manage as a response? Yeah, I don't know what I should say. Nothing. I think, just promise that you're gonna come with me. Of course, you know I will. Emmy smiles wanly, looking a little relieved. Good. In that case, we better get going. The bus pulls up just a little after she finishes the sentence. Vague memories of my first trip out here come to mind as I step off the bus, but unfortunately they're too vague to be of any use. I will be the first to admit that I don't quite recall how to get to Emmy's house, so I let her lead the way. She seems content to walk in silence, and I myself have no idea what I could possibly say, so the two of us arrive at her house, having said nothing since getting off the bus. Emmy's mother opens the door and doesn't seem surprised to see me standing next to her daughter. I expect that Emmy would have phoned ahead to let her mother know of the change in plans. Emmy, so, you're just in time. Lunch is just about ready. Great. I was afraid we might be running late. As fast as you were going this morning, I doubt there was much of a chance of that. I certainly hope she wasn't too much of a bother, Sal. She tends to get a little paranoid about being on time when food's involved. I hadn't noticed. This earns me a swat on the arm from Emmy, who, despite the serious nature of our conversation on the bus and the almost pretty quiet walk, is quickly becoming cheerful again. Probably to keep her mother from worrying about whatever it is Emmy plans to tell me later. Miss Ibizaraki ushers us in short order, we're around the table devouring lunch. I hadn't realized how hungry I was until I got here, but for once I seem to be eating almost as much as Emmy. Goodness, it's a good thing I made so much. The two of you are acting like you haven't eaten in days. I skipped breakfast this morning. Me too. Had to catch the bus, I assume. That, and I figured you'd make too much food, so it wouldn't matter if I skipped breakfast. Well, it's good to know that I'm predictable. Emmy nods enthusiastically, and conversation falls off again as we're very nearly clear the table of anything edible. It is a testament to the sheer amount of food on offer that we don't finish everything. Wow. I lean back in my chair with a sigh and thank Miss Ibizaraki for the food. I'm glad you liked it, Sal. Now, has Emmy told you where we're going? Yeah, of course. Is it far from here? Not really, but we'll drive there at the same time. It closes kind of early. I nod in assent and stand up ready to go. Well then, shall we? Miss Ibizaraki nods and leaves the room to grab the keys, her keys. Emmy, I notice, has started to fidget nervously. Second thoughts? Emmy smiles tightly at me and shrugs. She's fallen silent again, which probably means that I'm right, and she's starting to regret bringing me along. Not that I blame her, she's done such a good job of shutting me out that I doubt it's easy to suddenly open up. Honestly, I'm worried that she's forcing it. But she said while waiting for the bus that I'm not supposed to give her a chance to back out, since I promised to go with her anyway. I suppose there's not much of a choice. I can't go back on my promise, and she can't go back on hers. I just hope the both of us are up to it. Well, Emmy's mother blows through the dining room, collecting the two of us, and heads out the door at a brisk pace. Oh, I know where her daughter gets it from. You mean all that energy? Yeah. The car pulls up at the cemetery gates, and I feel Emmy tense up beside me. I reach over and give her hand a comforting squeeze, which causes her to relax a little. And now he's finally going to get a revelation after all this time, and this is the final answer for his problem. Emmy's mother doesn't follow us, explaining that she prefers to visit the grave alone. Emmy steps through the gates and looks back, as if to make sure I'm still there. We step into the cemetery. I don't feel comfortable in cemeteries. Gravestones litter the ground, each one serving as a reminder that someone used to be alive and is no longer. I mean, I don't blame you on that. Yeah, there is something with graves that kind of has a gloomy presence to them, usually, sometimes. How many died young? How many were as old as I am now? When do I wind up with a marker of my own? How much longer do I have left? Good Lord, don't think too much of it, I always say. The concept of not waking up, not seeing Emily anymore is not a happy one. It frightens me. And I really nearly turn around and exit right then and there. I don't want to go among dead people. I don't want to see their stones and think about who they were or what they could have been if they only had more time. Then I look at the girl next to me and my resolve returns. Emmy striding purposefully down the path, eyes clear, setting the pace that's very nearly a jog. The sooner we get there, I suspect she thinks, the better. We're here. Wow. A gravestone, wholly unremarkable in everything except for the name etched upon it. The grass says grown up around the base. Emmy's eyes are riveted to the stone. After a few moments, she turns around, looking surprisingly calm yet solemn. Pink's not actually my favorite color, you know. What? I'm warming up to it. Ah. People tend to think that pink's my favorite color. I think it's because I like strawberries, and even though those are red, they just assume that pink's the right color for strawberries. Who thinks that? Strawberries are red, people. Who thinks that? Maybe if I don't know, you're talking about maybe some type Valentine's candies out there. They got a sort of a pinkish color, somewhat. Strawberries are red, like cherries. I technically don't think there is a pink colored fruit, as far as I'm aware. If there is, you guys let me know. And that it's my favorite color, but it's not. I'm too polite to tell anyone otherwise, of course. And it's not the kind of thing worth getting worried about. But I'll bet you thought pink was my favorite color. No, I didn't. Blue, that's my favorite color. My mom and dad are the only two who know that, and now you do too. Well, you and I would get along on that department then, because that's my favorite color too. Thanks for telling me, I think. You're welcome. There's a pause as she considers what to say next, drawing a quick breath. I can't carry a tune to save my life. I can hum, but actually singing the song is something I've never been able to do. I don't mind because I'm not a fan of karaoke anyway. I can't sing shit either, so you're not alone on that, Emmy. I can play a little guitar, but I'm not the greatest at it. Do a little, there's nothing to it. Not really been taught or anything like that. It's like, I don't know. And it's not even really all that great when I play. It sounds like shit a lot of times. I don't know. Well, that's one potential date idea out the window. People all think that I'm really popular and a friendly person, but I only have a few close friends probably because I keep everyone in the dark, but I think it's also because I hate the idea of losing a close friend. That is understandable. There are many people worth the risk. I'm terrible at saying goodbye. I sometimes think that I only run because it's what I used to do with my father. You're not my first boyfriend. I dated a guy for a long while during my second year at Yamaku, but in the end we broke up because I didn't want to get closer to him. I couldn't live with that distance between us. I wonder what caused them to break up. I'm kind of curious of that. Interesting. Her rate of speaking increases slightly, as if she's rushing towards the finish line. I'm actually 1 year older than you. Everybody thinks I'm younger because I'm short, but I had to skip 1 year because of my accident. Wow. They initially thought I was paralyzed when they pulled me out of the wreckage. I'd lost my legs already, but they were afraid that I wouldn't even be able to use what was left of them. After surgery, it was clear that their initial assessment was mistaken. I couldn't feel my legs because of shock. Short-term paralysis due to the other trauma I'd experienced. My recovery was one of the fastest they'd ever seen, or so they told me. I never found out if they were serious about that or if they told that to all the parents, patients learning to walk again. Hmm. I, I mean, I. She pauses, gathering herself for one last effort. 8 years ago today, I lost my legs, and I lost my father as well. 8 years. Some reason I must have like forgot a little bit about that. Like, because the one nurse mentioned something about a year or whatever it was, but maybe he was talking about something else, and I kind of didn't catch that part. I knew something was with that, but I don't know. That's interesting there. That's a long time. So she dealt with so many different things, and she never really got over what happened. My guess is she just kind of bottled it all up and distanced herself from people. And when people just got close, she just kind of pushed them away. Is my guess. Who knows? He died on the way to the hospital. I didn't even get to go to the graveside until 2 months later, and couldn't attend his funeral. I'm so sorry. Don't be. That's what everyone always says, that they're sorry. I hate hearing that. Like anyone could have done anything to change what happened. You know, the best piece of advice I got, these things happen. I didn't remember who said it, but I guess they didn't have anything better to say. But it's true, you know, these things happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. They aren't necessarily planned, they aren't always bad, and they aren't always good, but they are. So I made a decision that I would live without worrying about the future. And to be sure that I never had to say goodbye again, I decided I wouldn't let people get close to me anymore. After all, they could be taken away at any time, and you know what? She laughs a little bitterly. She's not completely wrong on that either, though. We all get a little bit afraid that we're going to lose people that we care about sometimes. Her eyes start to well up with tears, and I step forward to embrace her, but she holds my hand to stop. Not finished. A deep breath, and she continues. It worked pretty well until I met you and saw that you were trying to adjust to stuff here. So I thought I'd help, and then you were so nice, and I couldn't help it. I just. The tears are flowing now, and she accepts the embrace this time. The rest of her sentences mumbled into my chest. Nice CG here. I tried hard not to fall for you, but I did. And I couldn't keep you at a distance, like with my first boyfriend, but I couldn't. But I've been so scared because I don't want to lose you, and I might anyway. Wow. Hey, I'm still around, right? And maybe I won't be forever, but don't you think it'll be fun while it lasts? Neither of us could survive the day. There could be a bus crash or something, but so long as I know that I've been with you. Come on, phone! This interruption. They interrupted the mood. I don't think it matters. A sudden thought strikes me, and I can't help laughing. My condition had me scared of dying so badly that I immediately seized on the opportunity Emmy presented to improve my odds of living longer. But without Emmy, would there have been any motivation to keep up with my running? It hits me that Emmy is the reason I want to go running every day, so I can spend as much time with her as possible. Emmy looks up at me confused. We'll go on living until we stop. And when we stop living, we'll be able to know that at least we've had time together. And I wouldn't have it any other way, because I love you, Emmy. And right now, that's enough for me. Aww. Aww. Smiles through her tears and steps back from me. The feels. Aw. I'm killing the mood. You know, it's funny. What is? I thought that the best way to live in the moment was to do it alone. But now, I don't think I'd have any other way either. I'm glad I met you, Asao. Well, these things happen. Emmy and I stay by the grave for a while as Emmy pays her respects to her father. When she's ready to go, we exit the graveyard side by side. Emmy's mother drives us back to Yamaku. The trip back is very quiet. We wave goodbye as the car drives off, and I glance down at the girl leaning on my arm. How are you feeling? Emmy shrugs non-committedly. I'll be fine. Come on, let's go. We pause outside the girl's dorm, and I turn to face Emmy, ready to say goodbye. Why don't you come up for a while? Okay. The walk up to her room is in silence. I'm not sure why I suppose I turn away at the door. I guess I just assumed she wanted to be alone. Her mom, the nurse, hell, everyone who knew the significance of today seemed to think it best to leave Emmy alone. But she took me to into the graveyard with her. She told me the whole story of what happened on the day she lost her legs. She wanted me around. The significance of this does not escape me. Emmy opens the door, steps into her room, not even bothered to invite me in, holding the door for me expectantly. I step in and the door swings shut behind me. Hey, can I ask you a favor? Sure, can't guarantee I'll do it, but Emmy giggles and pulls me into a kiss that starts out soft but deepens into something almost desperate. Yeah, I get a feeling that it's probably going to go into one of those scenes, and I'm hoping that this will give me a kind of ending towards the end because I did a previous recording beforehand. I had no choice but to delete the shit. There was no way I could upload it because I mentioned how the game just abruptly ends, and I don't know, it was kind of weird on that. Uh, and there's nothing, like I said, I could do to adjust like most people's software out there. I can't do that. Like, I wish, but since I do my recording on a phone, it's the only way I could do it. Uh, so I'm gonna have to do some forwarding here a little bit. And the problem is you get some plot with this particular point here where they start talking about I love one another, we'll be in the future, and you got her back and you can see a nipple poking out from where she's sitting. It's not really, you can't see much. I mean, by the time you get to that point, but I don't know, if something doesn't happen here, obviously this is going to have to be an end here for you guys. This would be conclusion of Emmy's route, but I don't know. That's kind of a cheap way to end it, if you ask me. So let me do some checking before I actually go that point. Make a save here and see what happens. I don't know. So I'll be right back. And I'm back, guys. Man, this is what I mean about one thing I don't like about visual novels. Some of you guys may disagree with me out there. These hentai scenes are absolutely unnecessary because some of us who want to finish them and upload them to YouTube can't do that when you get plot in the middle of something and the girl has her shirt off. And you know as well as I do, YouTube will can that shit immediately. Even though there's not really a whole lot showing there, it's like you see her from her back and you see her butt. There's not really too much going on. It's like, but you could make out just a little bit of a nipple. And that's pretty much it. But something happens on my version. I don't know. It just kind of abruptly ends. So either way, this pretty much is the end here. So I'll read it a little bit more because this part isn't quite over, as you see, because after he does a little bit of this reading here, it goes into another scene with her where I was mentioning. Mentally, I feel grateful that Emmy keeps her snails short, otherwise I think she might have drawn blood. I set up briefly to dispose of the new, now used condom and lay down. Good lord. Reading that is not what I want to read. For a while we lay in silence, savoring the feeling of being next to one another. I mean, back there, to me, after the hug and the embrace, I mean, that to me should have been an ending right there. Should have been an extra scene, cut back into this, and then it's like, okay, we get this extra scene. This was pretty much unnecessary. They didn't need that. Like, I don't know, we did the other scene where they did the anal. This time they actually did it the natural way, so that's like, okay. Emmy is the first to speak, and she's gonna talk, but the problem is I can't show it because like I'm too afraid YouTube will can it. I don't know. I just don't want to take that risk. Uh, so yeah, I will see you guys in just a moment. And it wasn't too fast. It was toward the end of this damn thing. Alright, well, I didn't exactly get what I wanted out of this, but here's her ending. I pretty much had to do a lot of skipping. That last part, anyway. Which, that kind of sucks. I don't like doing that, but I had no choice but to skip that last part because it's unnecessary to include that type of stuff. I don't know. They could have easily closed the door, like, we're gonna do it, but I don't need to see it on screen. But the problem is, if you disable the adult content, though, sometimes they'll skip too far past where you want to go sometimes. That's the only thing I don't like. I don't know. But yeah. All right. For some reason, I had a little delay coming back to the main homepage. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this route. It was actually pretty fun. Like I said, it's been a little bit since I last played this. And coming through these parts, sometimes you go through different things. You can forget a little bit of stuff here or there. But you start to remember little things. And yeah, like I said, I tried doing this both ways, and that scene always plays out no matter which way you go about this. Whether you kind of make talk to her mom, you still kind of get that grave scene, and then that's pretty much ends there. And then there's this part here where I did it this way, where you end up talking to Misha there, and it somehow pulls you back into her good route. I don't know. Obviously, if I would have downplayed the issue, that probably would have kept the route on bad, but I wasn't gonna do that. So that was interesting, going about that. But by the time it came to here, though, I felt like the best part to where it ended, that nice little hug that you guys saw at the end, you guys, some of you probably would think like me, would probably admit that was probably a good moment to keep it like that. As opposed to kind of go into a next part. I didn't really think that was necessary here to come upstairs. To me, but you kind of, they do this a lot with these types, visual novels. And this is kind of one of them that do that like that. Where, and with, because I recorded on a phone, I can't, like, if there was a way I could just, like, put her face on the screen and then read the text. But you could only do that on a PC. You can't do that on any phone. Doesn't matter what phone you got out there. Galaxy Note 10, the newest iPhone, doesn't matter what it is. They're not powerful enough to, you could play visual novels on them, some of them, but the way that they kind of, I don't know, uh, the way that they're, formatted though, they don't always, function the way that, they should. But, for the most part, I got most of what I needed out of it. So hope you guys enjoyed this route. Rin will be next, so yeah, so stay tuned. And all right, so I'm not gonna start her route right away, so hopefully to give you guys some time to kind of get into this a little bit. But her route, I always say Emmy's route to me is the one that I would always tell people to start off with first if you never played this before. Because to me, it's the most straightforward. You have some sad moments, happy moments, and some depressing ones as well. But my personal opinion, I think all the other characters still beat Emmy out in terms of overall sad, depressing, and just, yeah. But you'll see what I mean when I go through these other ones, how much more depressing they are. And some of them you feel like the protagonist isn't even compatible with, and you'll see on one of those. Um, and surprisingly, I'm gonna do Rin, which I think she's least compatible with the protagonist, which is interesting on that. So, all right, so stay tuned for Rin. But for now, hope you guys enjoyed Emmy's route, and yeah, I will see you guys next time.